Now just 1,200 miles away, the Estonian faction of Trident Juncture is in full swing. The Army's Scouts Battalion is practicing storming buildings and firing at targets just outside the Estonian town of Võru. During a break, Sergeant Edek Ngor talks about what he hopes to get out of the exercise.
I think we were studying urban combat, especially for Trident Juncture. So I hope we're really good by that time.
At the same time, 1,100 miles across Europe, in Plymouth, on the south coast of England, an elite fighting force of the Royal Marines is using boats, helicopters, and amphibious vehicles to storm a beach in a show of force. Commodore Martin Connell, commander of the Amphibious Task Force, said that Trident Juncture's exercise is a real, valuable opportunity for NATO.
This is a real valuable opportunity for NATO. NATO, quite frankly, has been focused on Afghanistan, rightly so, for the last decade or so. But we, in the maritime environment, are very used to operating with our NATO partners.
While English forces flex, demonstrating alliance cooperation 1,000 miles to the east, a Danish infantry unit practices maneuvers in armored vehicles and engaging in a simulated attack at the Adazi military base in Latvia.
Well, I think that we have an important role in Trident Juncture. We're armored infantry, and we've got a pretty high firing power, and I guess we could use that in Trident Juncture.
To the south, in the Mediterranean Sea, the German Navy engages in defensive maneuvers. In the heat of a simulated attack on the German frigate Hamburg, they fend off multiple air, land, and sea threats. Operations Officer Alexander Mamert realized that in Trident Juncture, the complexity of the scenario will be greatly heightened. Trident Juncture is NATO's most ambitious land, sea, and air exercise in more than a decade, involving 36,000 troops from allied and partner nation units. Units from all contributing countries have been preparing with drills. The size and scope of these drills cannot be understated as World War III intensifies in Syria. NATO is no longer using failed rhetoric against their claimed Russian threat. They are materializing the weapons of war in full view of Putin's military. You will not see this reported on the evening news tonight. Neither will your friends and family. It is your job to inform the world and bypass the corporate media. Distribute this to your social networks immediately. For the Next News Network on the front line of World War III, I'm Gary Franchi.
Military exercise will begin taking place in the American Southwest. It's a large-scale military training exercise run by the U.S. Army Special Operations Command. It's called Jade Helm and has caused concern in some locals living in the areas where it will be conducted. For more, I'm joined now by legal and media analyst Lionel of Lionel Media. Hi, Lionel. Can you start by explaining the historical or constitutional objections and concerns that one might have when it comes to Jade Helm?
Well, especially now because there are so many self-styled historians, what with the Confederate flag, but organic and a part of the American psyche is an absolute abhorrence over the notion of sitting, or actually a standing military, actually being on our soil. Posse Comitatus Act of 1878 provides this firewall between military and civilian law enforcement. And interestingly enough, it was passed to combat the Fugitive Slave Act of 1850. So what is inherently American is to be very concerned over the notion of American troops, for whatever reason, becoming acclimated and habituated by Americans on our soil.
Certainly. And what role do you think journalists have in providing the proper context for Jade Helm? And do you think that Americans truly understand what martial law actually means?
I'll answer the second part. No, they don't. They have no concept of this. What do you think Boston was? Look at the reaction to the Boston bombing. That was a beta test for martial law. But whenever you have mainstream media involve themselves, a la the embedded reporters, already you're seeing this spate of news saying, oh, it's a conspiracy theory, it's crazy, nothing to worry about. After all, the government told us it was okay, and they never lied.
Military inventory site deagle.com has released an updated United States 2025 forecast with an even lower population estimate at 65 million. This would mean 80% of the population would have to leave, die, or no longer be part of the United States within 10 years. Deagle.com has been estimating a massive population reduction and economic collapse for the U.S. for years, but it was not until fall 2014 when conspiracy theorists caught on and blew up the story. With archive.org, you can view what the site has broadcasted for the last few years. In late 2008, when they first revealed forecasts, they showed an increase in U.S. population from 304 to 323 million by 2017, with a slight reduction in GDP. In 2009, however, their prediction was changed to a 2020 date with a population reduction of 11% to 271 million and a GDP down 70%. The forecast trend continued, but by March 2012, the forecast switched to a 2025 date with another great leap in population reduction estimate to 187 million. Last year, they forecasted 69 million people and less than $1 trillion in GDP. This update, which happened within the last 10 days, further reduced population and GDP. Other Western nations are affected, but not to the extent of the United States. Russia has an estimated population reduction, but an increase in GDP. Just 10 days ago, Japan and Germany were updated with a massive population reduction forecast. Since last year, Deagle does now provide a response to criticism.
have with me our expert, Dr. Bernadette Murus. So people have been hearing about this disease X.
Certain disease that have the potential to give rise to a severe epidemic and no medical countermeasure, meaning no drugs, no vaccine.
It's going down in Texas, and not in a good way. It seems that portions of West Texas are sinking at alarming rates.
My colleagues, Dr. Jim Kim and I, we used the satellite images to look at over the Pecos area, over the West Texas, and try to identify the ground surface move up or move down.
What's going on, guys? James from the Research Revolution. All right, check this out. In Texas, there's some weird stuff going on. In the area of San Antonio, Houston, and I believe it's like Houston, San Antonio area. And this was in the morning, in this purple sky. There's a lot of other weird stuff going on in Texas. That freak out, that bird freak out, where they dropped out of the sky and were landing on the freeway and stuff. And now we have this purple sky. And also there was like 6 tornadoes that touched down. Here's another picture. Let's take a look. Yep, that's purple. This is the craziest image. I'm saving it for last. Look at that. What's going on in Texas, guys?
Unnaturally luminescent. Yeah, you see the cloud cover, it kind of starts falling off a bit though.
James LaFleur here with the Impossible Channel. We're going to be talking about possible Anunnaki war going on down in Broward County, Florida. NBC News, NBCMiami.com released an article on a sonic boom that was heard last week, and actually everybody heard it, and they were very scared and called 911 and all that, and everyone got busy. We got an email from a subscriber, Melanie from Florida. Thank you very much, Melanie. You know, this is awesome. She told us a very different story that NBCMiami.com tells. You know, a little bit different. Now, I have been talking to a few people out there that have been telling me about a possible space war, an alien war, a real alien war going on between humans and Anunnaki forces, okay? Now, this is very serious because it's supposed to be happening down in Syria, you know, where it always has been going on because of the underground.
Has spun yet another elaborate yarn in hopes of obscuring Vladimir Putin's private war against a malevolent race of extraterrestrials called the Anunnaki. On Saturday, the Russian Ministry of Defense reported that one of its fighter jets, an Su-25, was shot down in the Idlib province of Syria. Tahrir al-Sham, the extremist group linked to al-Nusra terrorists, reportedly claimed responsibility, saying the band of freedom fighters had downed the aircraft using an American-made Stinger missile. Our source, former KGB agent Strelnikov Isaac Stepanovich, says the official story is a smokescreen hiding a weary president's struggles to cleanse the earth of hostile visitors. According to Stepanovich, the Su-25 was conducting aerial surveillance on a suspected Anunnaki compound when it came under fire by direct energy weapons. The pilot ejected, and the aircraft plunged into the ground. Many people believe Putin is in Syria to bolster al-Assad's regime, but it goes much deeper. The Anunnaki have been in Syria for a long time, and Putin tries to prevent the vermin from infesting other nations. There are many stories in Syria about the tall men entering villages at night, and taking away the children. Because of the war, there are many orphaned, helpless children. These children are never seen again, and their stories are never reported. When the Ministry of Defense learned that tall men were spotted abducting children near Idlib, Putin ordered an investigation, suspecting Anunnaki interference. Stepanovich said Russia used conventional aircraft because, after a previous encounter, the Anunnaki had apparently invented a means of masking themselves from satellite surveillance. The Su-25, he added, flew over an abandoned munitions factory, and began photographing a squad of 7 to 15-foot-tall humanoids lurking near the compound. The pilot reported his findings only seconds before a green energy beam sliced the airframe in half. The pilot was heard saying he was ejecting, and that was it, Stepanovich said. The official report says he survived the ejection but was later killed by terrorists. Fact is, the Anunnaki tore him limb from limb. In retaliation, Vladimir Putin ordered a massive airstrike on the encampment. Sorties of Su-30s and Su-34s slammed the Anunnaki stronghold with a combination of standoff and close-range munitions, bombarding the villainous extraterrestrials using a mixture of conventional weapons and, Stepanovich said, a proprietary technology known to be effective in killing the Anunnaki scourge. The facility was reduced to rubble, and a post-battlefield damage assessment revealed no survivors. The blast incinerated everything, and everyone. Asked if Putin showed concern for missing children that might have been held captive at the factory, Stepanovich said, President Putin loves children. He has 2 legitimate daughters and I won't say any more than that. But make no mistake, this is war. There are more Anunnaki around, and avoiding collateral damage is impossible. Last night, the Ministry of Defense released camera footage of the carnage. It reportedly shows the destruction of the facility as well as humanoid targets attempting to flee the area. Scrutiny of the footage in parallel with digital forensic analysis, however, suggests the intended targets were anything but human. When we look at playback, it's very hard to determine size of a signature on screen. Obviously it's dark and we're looking at infrared or night vision images. So, the Kremlin compares the video against archival footage of engagements against human targets. In doing so, they reached the conclusion these were larger than human-sized targets. Also, the video shows a fleeing target. We know the size of the area, and we can see how far it ran before being struck. Based on this, simple math illustrates the target was sprinting at 65 kph, too fast for any human. In contrast, in 2010, Olympian Usain Bolt was clocked at 44.7 kilometers per hour, the highest human sprinting speed ever recorded. In closing, we asked Stepanovich why Putin doesn't come clean and tell the world about his war on the Anunnaki, to which he replied, "There are many reasons. Primary among them is the Russian Orthodox Church. It has begged Putin to conceal this information, fearing knowledge of the Anunnaki and their origins would shatter tenets of Russian faith. Also, the first round of the presidential election begins in March. The church told Putin any such disclosure would compromise his re-election.
There it is. Huge, loud explosion. Me and my kids just burned some leaves out here or whatever, and been just the third time I heard it today. But I also heard it last weekend. And last weekend I heard two from the west, pretty powerful, and then an even louder one to the northeast. And I have no idea what it is. I have no air parts around. I have, it's coming from the sky, and it's very pronounced and powerful. You can just sense how powerful it is, but yet so far away. And I hope that picked it up. I finally got it on video. I've been trying forever here, past 2 weekends, and yeah. But that was it. I'm hearing about 10 to 15 minutes apart, and they're very powerful and unexplainable.
Asking what was that loud boom in Alabama?
Didn't take long for me to jump out my chair, because I knew this whole world was doomed.
Then a little bit of a delay, and then a third boom.
Then information we've been able to gather.
The percussion inside, I could feel it in my trailer. It rattled my trailer.
Wall shook, the door shook, the window shook.
That's still the case for that boom, heard on November 14th by residents all over central Alabama.
It shook our house.
It's the sound.
Everybody's just wondering what it is.
I'm sitting in my living.
Just sitting in my recliner.
I heard two booms.
Bam, boom.
We're all asking about.
Well, for the third time in nearly 3 weeks, people across Alabama are baffled after hearing something like this.
Yeah, what was it? Some of you heard at least 2 more booms like that.
Just like folks in Walker, Winston, Coleman, Blunt, St. Clair, Talladega.
Hey! What happened? I don't know. That was awesome.
Yet questions remain.
Even the man in the white button down and suspenders, he didn't have a clue.
With interest all over Facebook about.
Shot I possibly can. That's a fucking monster. All right, that's a monster. And it sucks because I got pulled off the shot. I was up there. I was up there in the background earlier. This is a monster today, folks. This is a monster, man. All right? Let's just bring that down. Head is a farfanugan monster of red. Okay? Like I said, I was up there trying to get a shot. I didn't think I was getting all that much. So, my boss called me right in the middle. Oh, I need you to come down to work. And I'm like, yeah. So, Pies and Cakes trying to bring you some crazy red sky. And you know what's in that red sky, folks, right? Yeah, you damn right we know what's in that red sky, Nibiru. Let me tell you, I've been watching the sky for almost 50 years, okay? And not only that, I'm out here twice a day for the most part for the last 3 months. 3 months. 3 months at an hour and a half, 2 hours a day, a little bit more. Yeah, I put some time in standing outside in the cold, all right? But I wanted to bring you something that was just so absolutely crazy. And like I said, if I was up there, I'd get even better shot than this. But I'm grateful for anything, because Pies and Cakes is getting a little stressed out. You know what I mean? This stuff takes a toll on you when you're out here all the time. It really does, because you start making plans around your stuff to get your shot. You really do. So I just want to bring you that cauldron of red. A cauldron of red, folks. You know what I'm saying? That's ballistically red. And I love you.
Freak weather. Orange snowstorm submerges tourist resorts with eerie apocalyptic scenes. A freak weather incident has struck at least 4 countries, turning white snow into an eerie orange shade that has left residents terrified about the cause.
Well, good day, everyone. Well, actually, good night. It's about 11:15 on June 19th. It's Monday. And I'm over here surfing the webcams to Mexico.com website, looking at the Acapulco Marina. So let's go through the slides here today. You can see it's about 1800 hours, 6 p.m. in the evening. You see some strange things going on down here. Let's just keep going. I wonder what could cause that anomaly right there. Let's just see. I wonder what's causing that anomaly in the sky. Oh, we see something around right there. Let me just keep going right through here real quick. I see some big round object right there. It looks like it's coming up. Let's keep going. There's another round object right here. You see that round outline? What could that be in the sky, you think? I don't know. Oh, now it's got some... Now look at that. What could that be? What does that look like? Is that just some lens flare, or is that an object in the sky? It's got craters on it. See that? It's pretty interesting. Is that a planet in our skies? Take a look at that. What is that? That's supposed to be our sun right there, shining on some big planet. It's going to go down. Oh, there it's gone now. Clouds are covered up. Oh, that's back again. It's moving down. It's like setting. Oh, there's a something. Something's in the sky right there, guys. I don't know what it is. Well, if I say what it is, I'm classified as a nutcase, so I'm not going to say what it is. But looks like we got some planets in our skies, it looks like. There it is right there. So what could that possibly be that's blocking part of the sun? You guys decide. Check it out tomorrow. 6 o'clock in the evening. Let's see if it's there again tomorrow. There it is again. So you can see it kind of moving kind of quickly. I'll move through it real quick. One more time. Take a look at that. What could that be in our sky? Okay, guys. Have a good evening.
The title of the article is Obama Plans Cosmic Disaster Summit, and I will read. Former President Barack Hussein Obama will host a private disaster summit to discuss a celestial threat that endangers the planet, says a Secret Service source that until recently still guarded the defrocked president. Obama has invited the country's elite personalities, people such as Jeff Zuckerberg, Oprah Winfrey, Jeff Bezos, Tim Cook, Jay-Z and Beyonce, George Clooney, Al Gore, Joe Biden, Jimmy Kimmel, and many others to an undisclosed hotel in New Zealand for a discussion on how to survive what he calls a coming apocalypse that will literally reshape the planet. The meeting, our source said, is tentatively scheduled for the week of May 13. For Your Eyes Only invitations were sent first to Obama's most affluent financial backers and later to a handful of media celebrities who have aligned themselves with his leftist agenda. The invitations, our source added, were not distributed on physical paper. Each invitee received an encoded message on an iPad. Moreover, the iPads contained RFID tracking chips and were biometrically coded to each recipient. These security measures prevent the message from falling into the hands of Obama opposition agents. I quote our source. Obama is taking this so seriously, he had Tim Cook's engineers create special security software and hardware to stop unauthorized persons from viewing his correspondence. I saw only a paper draft of the invitation before he, Obama, shredded it. I saw enough to get the gist of the message. Obama is concerned about some future catastrophe that will kill off a large part of civilization, and he wants to save himself and his flock of future leaders. The invitations purportedly omitted words like Nibiru or Planet X, but mentioned an unimaginable threat lurking in the blackness of space that would soon imperil the planet and end life as we know it. Obama must deem the information extremely sensitive because the invitations excluded spouses of those invited from attending the summit. Additionally, no press will attend. The invitations warned recipients not to alert media outlets. I quote our source again. Some special media persons were invited, Anderson Cooper, Rachel Maddow, but the invitations demanded their secrecy. Obama has taken steps to throw off anyone that might want to somehow surreptitiously gain access to the conference. As a precautionary measure, Obama reserved blocks of suites and conference halls at several five-star New Zealand hotels. Alleged locations include Kauri Cliffs in northern New Zealand, Sofitel Queenstown Hotel and Spa, Auckland Viaduct Harbour, Hotel de Brett, Hilton Auckland, and several others. In fact, our source said, Obama scouted these locations during his recent 3-day excursion to New Zealand. I quote him again. I have no idea which of these spots will be the true location of the conference, but it's obvious he, Obama, is using decoy locations to derail unwanted attempts to find out where he will be. It's quite possible even the attendees don't know yet. Obama might send them a signal days or even hours before the event begins as a means of extra security. He wants to keep out intruders, but as to the people he invited, he wants them in on his plans.